What's going on, everyone? LA Sports back with another video, and in this video I'm going to be doing a video talking about all of the New York Giants free agents remaining and whether or not the New York Giants should extend them. Who should they extend and who should they let walk and potentially get comp picks for. Now, of course, I was doing the series of who they should resign. I did Nick Gates, um, you know, Saquon, Jones, but now we're getting close, so I'm going to kind of do a combined video for the rest of our class, really, and I think just the main guys. And, I think Joe Schoen's going to take a very cautious, but he's going to be a spender. He's going to be a cautious spender, I think, in free agency. So, we'll see the Giants build through the draft, of course, first and foremost, but I think that they'll fill some holes in free agency with guys that they're familiar with. I think he said that a lot. So look for guys on the Bills, of course, because he and Dable are from Buffalo. Guys from the Eagles because of Brandon Brown, the Ravens because of Wink, and the Chiefs because Kafka. So look out for guys on, free agents coming from those teams, because we have some familiarity there. But let's get right into this video. I think, the guys I'm really going to talk about here in this video: Julian Love, Richie James, John Feliciano, Jihad Ward, Sterling Shepard, Matt Breida, Darius Slayton, Landon Collins, Tony Jefferson, Fabian Moreau. I think those are really the main guys that I haven't already touched on. Of course, Nick Gates. I talked about him already in his own video. I think they should bring him back if it's at the right price, because I think he could play all three positions that we are in need of right now on the offensive line. But we'll start off with Julian Love. I think he's an important player, and I think he is he's one of those guys that loves being a Giant, and, this is really this is his first payday, and as much as he wants to get paid, I think he would take a little less to come back to the Giants. Now, am I saying it's likely? No. I don't think the Giants spend too much to bring back Julian Love, because I think, we do have Xavier McKinney. There are few good safeties in the draft, kind of safety corner combination guys that could kind of play both, versatile guys. I would bring back Julian Love, though, at the right price. There's no question about that. He's a captain. He's a leader. 3-year, $30 million deal, something like that. If Love were willing to sign for that, I would be for that. But we'll see what happens there. John Feliciano, I don't really know about him. Came from the Bills. That's really, I think, the reason why he was a Giant. But I don't know. Like I said, I don't know about bringing him back. He's kind of old. He's he showed signs of rust. So we'll see what the Giants do with him. If the Giants do bring him back, I wouldn't expect them to be a starter. And if they do bring him back, it will be on a 1 or 2 year deal for really cheap, $2 or $3 million a year. So we'll see if the Giants choose to bring him back and kind of, just have him there as, a backup guy or a guy who can kind of move around the line and play left guard, center type thing. He's more of a center, though. We'll see what happens there. I can't see him getting a lot of money, probably not really more than $3 or $4 million on the open market. The next one's Jihad Ward, and I think the Giants will, and I think they should bring him back. He's an important player. He's another guy, one of those guys who's a leader on that defense. I think he really excelled this year, I think, in Wink's system, and Wink really, really likes Jihad Ward. He said, as long as I'm coaching, I want Jihad Ward on my football team, and I think that he'll be back. I have a feeling. I think Wink really kind of picks and chooses some, certain guys he wants on his team, on his defense. And I definitely think that if Jihad Ward is willing to come back to the Giants, which I don't see why he wouldn't be, I think that he could definitely be back with the Giants on a somewhat of a cheap deal. I think he's a good player. He's a good guy. He makes some plays here and there. So, I don't see a reason why the Giants shouldn't bring him back for a cheap 1 or 2 year deal. Richie James and Darius Slayton, and we'll talk about Shepard too. All three wide receivers, I think. For Richie James and Richie James and Darius Slayton, I think they're both going to be gone, and I think we're going to get a 5th round comp pick for Darius Slayton, maybe even 4th round, because he's going to make some money. There's no question about it. He was the best Giants receiver last year. I just think that both of them are kind of guys that Yeah, I mean, we don't need them. It would be nice to have them, but we have guys like Isaiah Hodgins, and we're gonna probably draft an early receiver, even maybe trade for one or sign one on in free agency. We're gonna revamp this wide receiving core, and I don't know if these guys are going to be a part of it, especially Slayton because of how much money he might make. Apparently, he's gonna make a significant amount of money in free agency. That's what I'm hearing. That's what Twitter's saying. So at that price, at a high price, I wouldn't bring back Slayton. I think you take your comp pick, you view it as a trade. I think if you can get Darius Slayton for a 4th or 5th round pick, if you could trade him for that, I think it's worth it. Richie James, like I said, I don't think he's needed, but I would bring back Sterling Shepard, and I think he's one of those guys where, he's another guy who will come back to the Giants for cheap. Obviously he's one of those guys that really cherishes being a Giant. He loves Saquon, he loves Jones, he loves his coaching staff. This coaching staff and this team loves him because even when he was hurt, he was still an impactful guy on the sideline. Just his leadership alone and what he's able to do to keep this team, tight, I think is worth paying him a couple million. I really do. I think he's that important of a player in terms of a locker room presence. He's a veteran, and if he's healthy, he could be a good slot receiver. So I would bring back Sterling Shepard if the price is right. So that's what I would do there with the receivers, and then Tony Jefferson and the guys in the secondary, Tony Jefferson, Landon Collins, and Fabian Moreau. I think Tony Jefferson, he's a safety, but I think it sounds like he is going to bulk up and be a linebacker. That's what Jordan Renan said. If that's the case, I would absolutely bring him back. I would probably still bring him back. Again, he's another guy with ties to the Ravens and Wink Martindale. I think he would make sense. At a close to minimum deal. He's a guy who could come in and give you some good snaps. So I would bring back Jefferson. As for Landon Collins, I mean, he's another guy. I think if you could get him on a cheap deal, he played linebacker. He could play safety. Another versatile guy. I think that's the type of guy that the Giants want to bring in. He's another good guy in terms of veteran, locker room, good leadership present guy. I think it makes sense to bring him and Tony Jefferson back. And then Fabian Moreau, I would like to bring him back, but I just think at cornerback too, the Giants need a bit of a better guy. If they're gonna bring him back as a corner 3, or even 4, then sure. But I think he's gonna be making a little bit too much money for at least for a team like the Giants, to be paying him like that. I think he's gonna make some money. He'll probably sign a 3-year deal worth maybe $9-10 million a year. I would say probably 9 range, but we'll see. I mean, he is a guy who's getting up there in age. He could still play good football, but I think with where the Giants want to go, I think they take a corner and a receiver fairly early in the draft, probably in the first 2-3 rounds. So, those are needs that I think they kind of get filled, or at least holes that they kind of get filled. And, you tend to start to build on them. They still have Darnay Holmes. They still have Aaron Robinson. A lot of people forget about what we have at that cornerback spot. So, I think he kind of becomes expendable now, and we'll see how much he makes on the open market. Would I be surprised if he's back? No, but I don't think it's likely. And if he's making a lot, I wouldn't bring him back. I would kind of hold off. So, in the end, the guys that I would bring back, if the price is right, Julian Love, Jihad Ward, Tony Jefferson, Landon Collins, and Sterling Shepard. That leaves the guys I would let walk: Richie James, Sterling Shepard, Fabian Moreau, and I'm kind of 50-50 on Jon Feliciano. It depends what his market is and what he wants to come back and be. We'll see. But that's who I would bring back. I don't know, and that's what I think they should do. I don't know exactly what they're going to do. I think probably along the lines of what I said, especially with like the guys like Jihad Ward, Shepard, Jefferson, Collins. Julian Love's tough because he could make some good money on the open market. But guys, that is all I got in this video. You guys let me know down in the comment section your thoughts on this video and who you think the Giants should extend this offseason. Free agency starts in a couple days. The negotiation period starts on Monday. it's going to be fun, and I'm going to have you guys all covered. So let me know down in the comment section your thoughts, like I said, on who you think the Giants should extend. Let me know that good stuff down in the comment section. As always, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We'll see you guys on the next video, and as always, let's go Giants.